Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we are going deep, deep into Romans 12, 1 to 2.
Yeah,
And this passage, man, it's all about figuring out, like, what is our responsibility to God? And how does that play out in our lives?
absolutely.
So
Yeah.
right off the bat, the first thing that always kind of gets me is this idea of a living sacrifice. How can you be a sacrifice and also be alive?
That's a good point. It's a great place to start because it is a bit of a contradiction. In the ancient world, when people thought of sacrifice, they were usually thinking about, offering something up like an animal or something precious. Here, Paul really shifts the focus. It's less about giving something up and more about giving yourself over. It's like this continuous offering, this dedication of, your thoughts, your actions, your desires. You are giving your whole life, your whole being to serving God.
Okay, so it's not just like a one-time thing. It's a lifestyle thing.
Yeah, it's a way of life. It's like, imagine, your life is this masterpiece
Oh, I like
you're
that.
creating,
Yeah.
and every choice you make, it adds a new brushstroke to that masterpiece.
Okay, so I mean that's a really powerful picture. But how does that actually work? Like what does it look like to actually live that out?
Yeah.
Like on a Tuesday morning.
And I think the answer is it looks different for everyone. We each have unique skills and talents and passions, right?
Right.
And so I think a living sacrifice looks like using those things, offering those things up to God. It's like, how can you take what you're good at, what you love, and use it to serve Him and serve others? Maybe it's through your job, your relationships, volunteering, or even just in the little everyday choices you make.
Yeah, okay. So it's like figuring out what makes you you and then giving that to God.
Exactly. It's like saying, God, here's everything I am, use it.
I love that.
And I think that ties in really well with the next part of the passage, too, which is about not conforming to the patterns of this world.
Oh yeah, this is a big one. We live in a world that is constantly like throwing messages at us, telling us how to think, how to act, what to buy. It's like a it's like a hurricane of influence.
Yeah, and it's everywhere. It's on social media, it's on TV, it's in the conversations we have, and it can be really hard to know what to hold on to and what to let go of. I know for me, I remember when I was working in a really competitive field, it was so easy to get caught up in that. It was like, everyone is trying to climb the ladder, get ahead no matter the cost. It was really tough to maintain my integrity in that kind of environment, to not compromise my values just to get ahead.
How did you navigate that? How did you stay true to yourself and to your faith in that environment?
I think it really came down to constantly checking in with myself, asking, okay, are my actions lining up with my beliefs? Am I making decisions that honor God? Or am I letting myself get swept up in this current of worldly ambition?
And I think that's a great takeaway for our listeners too, right? Like what
Mhm.
what kind of questions can we be asking ourselves to figure out if we're conforming to those patterns of the world?
Yeah, I think it's about looking at your life, your habits, your choices, and asking, does this align with my faith? Is this what God wants for me? And if it's not, maybe it's time to make a change
Right, right.
because that's where the transformation comes in.
Oh yeah, the transformation, that's the next part. Paul talks about being transformed by the renewing of your mind.
Right. And that's the beautiful thing about this whole process.
Yeah.
It's not about becoming perfect overnight. We're all a work in progress, right?
Right.
But it's about allowing God to work in us, to change us, to make us more like Him, becoming more loving, more compassionate, shifting your perspective, your priorities, and really becoming who God created you to be.
So it's like becoming the best version of yourself.
Exactly. It's like, you're this beautiful diamond, but you're covered in dirt and grime, and God is gently polishing you, revealing your true brilliance.
I love that. And I think that really leads us to the final part of this passage, which is about finding satisfaction in God's way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I think we've all been there where, we're chasing after things that we think will make us happy.
Right.
We get it and it's like, wait,
You're left feeling empty.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So how do we break free from that? Like how do we find that true fulfillment, that true satisfaction?
I think true satisfaction comes from aligning your desires with God's will, finding joy in serving a purpose greater than yourself. And that's what God offers.
Right, right.
It's a relationship with Him. It's a life of purpose and meaning.
Okay, so it's not about getting rid of all our desires. It's about like shifting them and aligning them with what God wants.
Exactly. It's about letting God transform your desires so that they line up with His plans for your life, which are always good.
That's good. So as we wrap up here, I really want everyone listening to think about what truly brings you satisfaction. What are those things that, they light you up inside? And do those things, do they align with your values? Do they align with your faith? Do they align with, the person that you want to be? And if not, what's one small step you can take today, this week, to start shifting, to start making a change?
Yeah, that's a great challenge.
Maybe it's volunteering somewhere. Maybe it's reaching out to someone who's hurting. Maybe it's spending time in prayer, really connecting with God. Whatever it is, just do something. Don't let these ideas stay in your head. Let them change your life.
Because even small steps can lead to big changes over time.
Totally, totally. Well, I think this has been a really rich conversation. So much to think about here. All right, everyone. Thanks for diving deep with us. We'll see you next time.
See ya!